Hello and welcome to our tarot video. Welcome. An oracle video. This is our general message of financial blocks in your manifestation. Welcome. I really don't know actually what crystal this is, but I have my ring light right here. Look at it. Wow. Ooh. Whoa. I should have put on like a flash warning. It's so, whoa, flashy. I can't wait for my 2023 finances to be like this, but a lot bigger. Okay, so we're going to be looking into your financial blocks in your manifestations. Whatever it is, when I say manifestations, I literally mean the things, the goals, you wanting to get a certain amount in a certain amount of time. Those things, that's what I'm talking about. So for instance, I'll give you a personal example. I want to have $2,000 every month in my bank account. Like I want to earn $2,000, right? So for me and my manifestations and everything, that's what I'm trying to achieve, is that $2,000. But I have to think about what exactly is stopping me from getting that $2,000. And that's where those blocks come into play. That's where this video comes into play. So I'm going to be reading Oracle and Tarot. I'm going to take notes so that we all can just, have an awesome kumbaya kind of moment. All together now. Struggle forever. No, just kidding. We're just going to struggle until we succeed. You know what I mean? Whatever. Like, the thing about also is I've realized that the more you can entail meaning into your money, the more you can kind of also realize that maybe you don't want to spend money on a certain thing that you thought was giving you some kind of good feeling, but in the end didn't really. And then you realize sometime that you kind of don't want to spend money on that certain thing anymore because you realize it's really ultimately not giving you the fulfillment you want. So you're starting to realize that your money, you're starting to honor it a lot more with how you spend it, is kind of what I'm actually catching on to. Some kind of train of so something about your blocks, right, when it comes to your finances is being kind of it's you're debating on what exactly is worth you, kind of what is worthy of your money and what is a waste of your money. And you're having some difficulty deciding what to do. We have the Seven of Pentacles right off the bat. You're really working hard at tending to it though. Tending to your already known finances. You're working hard maybe at understanding the balance of fixed expenses and understanding the balance of the expenses that are a bit less fixed, that are a bit more so all right, I'll give you another example, okay? I go to McDonald's after work and I get their $109 or that $109 Pepsi. No, I get a Dr. Pepper, obviously. But I get a large Dr. Pepper and it comes out to be $109, whatever. That sort of thing, I don't need to actually spend that, right? I don't need to go to McDonald's, waste a lot of gas for that kind of thing, right? But I choose to do that because I think that kind of expense isn't so bad enough for me to not do it. But do I actually need to do it to survive, to get by? Maybe not. You know what I mean? And maybe right now that's where you're at in finances, is you're in that survival mode. You have tended to your garden, absolutely, but you are still at 7, right? And in terms of pentacles, they go from ace to 10 to, man, they always switch this up, but like to page to knight to queen to king. So you're at 7, and 5 is halfway in between 1 and 10. 1 being ace, 10 being the 10 of pentacles. So you are still in essentially, you're still in that learning lesson stage of balance, right? Of kind of balance. I do notice one thing that just popped out to me is that this pentacle right here is like a little off from these. These are all together in this great big vine thing. And then this is off to the side, right? So maybe you're like in that decision mode of what exactly, and I think I've said this before in this video, but what exactly is worth and what exactly is a waste. Because here's the thing, no matter if you spend your money or if you save it, it will come and it will go, absolutely. But the thing about saving, which is at least coming to me as a human being, okay? This is not your reader. This is your human being, equal friend, hello. But it's come to me, Leah, that money is absolutely, saving it wise, so very important, especially for those moments in life where it's unexpected and you did not realize that that was going to be that much. But somehow you've learned how to find what is worthy and find what is more so a waste. And when it comes to the waste, instead of thinking, oh, well, that money goes out the door, you more so compost it into being more fruitful for you later in life. And that can be coming up with goals, with things that are achievable realistically with like where you're at within, I would give it 3 months. I would give it 6 months. I would give it a year. However, whatever it is for the time length that is realistic for you in terms of achieving it with the money that would be wasted, right? So that's how you could save your money a bit more in terms of maybe like, you know, maybe you really want that large Dr. Pepper at the end of your shift, but then you remember what you're saving your money for. And then you're able to turn that waste more into worth when it comes to like that sustainable growth. Because one thing about manifestations that I don't think I realize half the time is it can be a very sustainable manifestation. Meaning it can be something that I'm always going to manifest more of, but I'm like, it's like I'm still at the 7 pentacles with it. There's still more to grow from it, right? But at the same time, there's a little bit I can take from it that can be a bit more beneficial, I guess. I kind of lost myself there. But I want to get back onto the goal thing because that's such an interesting aspect, because I saw this pop up and I was like, yeah, that makes sense. So goals are something in terms of manifestations and in terms of blocks that can help you out. When it comes to blocks, ideally, it's more so a mindset than anything. I will say that. Everything starts and finishes with your mindset. When it comes to your job, do you finish all your tasks on the list? Or when it comes to your job, and I'm getting like, kind of like, it's hard for me to speak. So this might be something that is a little touchy when I do say it, but I'm just saying it so you know about it, okay? And like what you know, whatever you do with what you know is up to you, okay? I love that. Hold on. I'm gonna write that down. I like that. Okay, hold on. Whatever you do is up to you. That is so good. Genius. Sorry, I always have to take a moment to just sit there in awe of my intelligence of it all, honestly. But the goals, right? Hear me out when I say it. You can set these goals that will be achievable when it comes to working towards over the block or through it or under it, however you want to get, but around it, but towards more of that finances that you want, right? So when it comes to these goals, and when it comes to the goals, I would say really realistically set them. So if you think you can manage to do it, then do it. But if you think that maybe it's a bit too much right now, please listen to that. You know yourself, you know your place in life the best. So as long as you are able to tune into what you truly want to do in terms of these blocks, in terms of setting your goals, it will be a lot more achievable. Because, you can set whatever kind of goal you want, but having it being achieved makes it go from like a goal to like, I don't know, a success. Not saying it's not a success if you don't achieve, but it really is a success. Like that's permanently a success when you do, have that goal go from like being just like an idea, right? Like, oh, in my case, right, I want $2,000 in my bank account by the end of December. Having that goal be like, it's like, oh, I want that. Instead it'd be like, oh, I have that. Like, oh yeah, I have $2,000 in my bank account already. Okay. And like really, truly, another thing that's coming to me is the feeling state of the kind of like already feeling like you have that certain manifestation achieved. So when it comes to this financial block of yours, I really need you to look at it in terms of a test, right? It's a test, and it's about you using what you have learned from the past, using your wisdom, tuning into your intuition and figuring out what small achievable goals within a certain amount of time, right? Give it 3 months, okay? 3-month goal of these small goals that are just like, it's like the, on the ladder where it has those steps, right? These goals are steps, and the ladder towards the top is where your goal is, and that's what you want to achieve. Whatever financial whatever financial manifestation you want in your life, you want to believe you're getting to that top. But the thing also is, as you go through these small goals and you work towards getting to the top of the ladder, if you will, you have to be in that state already. You have to diligently dedicate yourself to honoring. And when I say honor, I mean honor, like honor you in the process of it. Really pat yourself on the back and say, bro, I am so happy that we did this. I am so proud of all the effort that you have done, all the times that you have fallen. I am so proud that you took time for yourself and you got back up. And we're back at it again. Look how far we've come. We are so strong. We are so strong, or something like that. You know what I mean? So really implement at the same time with these little small goals to get yourself in the feeling state of just that state you want to be in when you have that financial manifestation there. You know what I mean? And it can be, imagine it in the different like time, I call it like time zones, but like imagine when you just get that manifestation, the realization, it dawned upon you like, oh wow. And then let's say a week later, and then let's say a month later, and then let's say 3 months. And really implementing you in that kind of different variety of time, whatever, you know, time periods, and really implementing that feeling state in within time, okay? And it's this kind of time, it's not going to be noticeable. More so it's subconscious, okay? Flow, state of time, whatever you want to call it. But it's going to be, you'll realize that you have gotten there a lot sooner than you would have if you were so diligently, like, if you were so just diligently watching and watching and watching and not really working on these small goals and really not working on them. Like, if you just watch, nothing's going to happen. But if you can watch and work on the small goals, but you have to work on the small goals too. Manifestation won't ever happen if you don't do the work. You got to do the work. You got to do it. Take one step. The best way out of darkness is just one fucking step, okay? Okay? Like, that's what I'm saying. But also, as I say this to you, I'm saying this to me. Like, don't you worry. I'm literally saying this to me. Okay. So, these cards flipped over. We have death in reverse, and then we have the, what is it? The King of Cups in reverse. Okay. That's very much so. Okay, so you want change, right? You want change. I can tell you want change. You obviously want to know about these blocks, these financial blocks, right? I've uncovered a lot of what you need to know about, like what you need to know with the financial blocks, right? But you want to change ultimately. With the King of Cups being in reverse and Death being in reverse, that's a very interesting combo, if I do say so myself, okay? I'm trying to imagine like a human and a dog walking down a park, and I always like to think of dogs and humans as just like the ultimate duo, because literally both of them have the same type of personality. They don't notice it. Maybe the dog does, but usually the human doesn't. I love it though. For some reason, I'm getting that. For some reason. What popped out is the Three of Swords. What's really causing this to not change? And 1 second. Okay. I thought I heard some kind of siren. It must have been something else. Okay. What's causing you to have ultimately the block, because I'm guessing you're curious, is you keep thinking about the past and you keep putting in the perspective of how to move forward, the past perspective. You're putting yourself in this very much so hard place to be, because it's literally you're causing yourself to let your emotions ultimately ride out that change. Like that, whatever kind of past that didn't work out, whatever did not work out in the past when it comes to finances, those choices you keep thinking about, and you literally are so obsessed with that you can't even get to the change that you want to, because your emotions are too much. They're too much. You're like restricting way too much, my friend. It's causing the ultimate thing, which is the change. It not saying it won't come, right? But it will come a lot easier when it gets to a point where you can really ultimately let yourself feel whatever kind of disappointment that happened in the past, okay? So when it comes to feeling that disappointment, my friend, do I want you to set a very safe setting for yourself? And do I want you to set the mood in terms of spa-like? I want you to get to a place where you can be able to release, but in terms of it being slow, in terms of it being going with the flow, your flow. And it's really about grounding and coming back to yourself when you're in this state, when you're in that really true pain of it all. When it comes to really implementing this releasing, it'll happen a lot more in different areas of your life besides your finances as well. But specifically when it comes to you dealing with your finances, right now you're dealing with it with a broken heart. Meaning when you give out your money, you have that broken heart giving out intention. And so when you do that, what you receive is going to be just the same. So really working on releasing whatever pain has been caused in the past, specifically around finances, okay? It can also, what came to mind was trusting in self. When it comes to trusting in self, that's very important when it comes to how you give out your finances and how you receive it. It also comes to like, are you making the right decision? You know what I mean? So really, ultimately, this releasing will help that trust in self as well, because you'll come to realize that when you experience the Three of Swords, like that betrayal, that like, oh man moments, maybe more so you put on stuff, like you put on that pain, or maybe more so you felt this pain a lot more now because you were so, and you have been so obsessed over the like scene of when you receive the pain, right? So now this is about ultimately releasing so that you can let your mindset, you can let your perspective where you're at get back to the present moment, so that ultimately you can see how much you've really got going for you, right? Really got going for you. And then when you release, you're able to then take those like ideas of the small steps towards the overall manifestation to happen. And you're going to be able to really let yourself go and flow like the Empress. Yo, man, I love the Empress. Yes. But anyway, so that's what I'm reading really is where the block's at ultimately is just past pain, you know, that past kind of moments where maybe it was like, oh shit kind of moments. I get it. Me too. Because it's like, am I making the right judgment call? Like, am I making the right judgment call? But ultimately, if you have the idea of the small steps, you'll know like if you are or not, because you'll know what kind of steps you want to take. I'm working on my budget. This is like me as a human, right? Not the reader, but I'm working on my budget and I love working on my budget. I'm realizing that when I spend money, I also am aware of how much I'm spending in terms of like what I'm spending it on, and in terms of me knowing the limitation, the boundaries. Maybe it is that when it comes to finances also, having some boundaries put into place could be perfectly, it could be a really awesome way in terms of small goals sort of thing. That could be an avenue you could take if you would like to. It's up to you, honestly. When I suggest things, more so I'm just like, oh, that's a really cool idea. Maybe that would help you out too. We have Oba domesticity. Okay. Domesticity. I don't know why, but I don't really understand domesticity. Okay, marriage in domesticity, signaling for you to focus on tending your own home in domestic area. Leaning into your home life is going to help support you at this time. Okay, so definitely yes, budgeting. Budgets or boundaries or budgets. It could be both, it could be any. But what's really coming out is one of those two. Like ultimately. Creation. It could be both. You could find though, maybe within the budget, right? Hear me out when I say this. You could find that you really don't actually want to spend all that money on coffee. Maybe you find that making coffee at home not only saves you money, but you're going to experience making it for yourself, which could be even better. Let me just say, this coffee's okay. It's McDonald's, absolutely. But what makes it even better is my own espresso in it. Boom. Better. We have Rhiannon, Enchantment. This is also Oddity, I'm hoping. Rhiannon, Enchantment. So really, I'm getting this aspect that you've been really, like, when it comes to your finances, I would say, like, absolutely you've been in that survival mode, right? And you're realizing that there are things that you have to do in terms of your emotions, in terms of maybe you're spending because you're really trying to, like, heal. Like, let me tell you, I've done that. I've done that healing spending time. You know what I mean? Where you just spend and you're like, I am so hurt, but I don't care. I know this is going to hurt eventually. But right now, I am so hurt that I don't care how much I'm spending. And then somewhere along the way, you realize that really you're not actually transforming or manifesting into the way you want to live, right? So when it comes down to it, you're realizing that you're really having to look more so on the brighter things of sides. You're needing to look on the lighter thing of the whole aspect of this block, because you're focused so much on the shadow aspects, which is absolutely fine. But now you have to take, right? You've learned a lot of the shadow aspects. I'm sure you've done a lot of work of that shadow self, shadow work. Ooh, let me tell you, crying is great, but you need a garden to do something with that water. You know what I mean? So really, it's about tuning into and making those small changes where you will not only feel that your money has more meaning, but you feel that because you're setting these budgeting boundaries with your money, you're able to experience more of life in terms of what can you do without spending your money? What can you do without, this isn't like the best example, but in terms of making your own coffee, you're not only saving money, but you're also having memories made. You're making something, right? When you make something, you make memories, which at the end of life, no matter how much money you have, memories will always have more value. Hands down, okay? So it's about, yes, you want those, you want that money, right? You want that certain amount of financial, whatever, manifestation. Tuning into making memories, setting small goals. I'm also going to write this down so I don't forget, okay? So, right? So you want making memories. You also tune into small achievable goals, right? We also, when it comes to these manifestations, we want them to be achievable. So we want you to be able, okay, to get to that finish line and not only get to there, but pass it, right? And you're like, wow, you look back and you're like, I did that. And you're like, that was easy. And you're like, I want to do more. And you keep going. Yay! But you also can get to a block of being burnt out because you spent so much time, energy, and effort. I can make an entire TED talk about that. I've learned so much about that. But tune into small, achievable goals. Also, if you ever want me to, friends, I can absolutely make like videos that are off these certain videos so that, I don't know, if you need more, detail within this, I can try my very best to do it, hopefully. Okay, so making memories, tune into small achievable goals. Also think about, boundaries. Okay, budget boundaries. I don't know how to spell budget, but it's fine. The J and the G are very much so confusing for me. Anyone else? Because, yeah, like, don't get me wrong. I love speaking English and I love writing it and reading it, but it's very confusing. I don't understand why they make it that confusing. Like, okay, so yeah, making memories, tune into small achievable goals, and budget boundaries is what I got for you when it comes to this entire video. Hey! Yeah, so really, ultimately, I'm seeing that you are like, I know it might feel like you are stressed out. It might feel like you're like so focused on like the technical that it just kind of feels like maybe tuning into that, being proud of where you're at right now. Just like giving yourself, I don't know, a day a week, a day every 2 weeks, a day every month, just to let yourself relax off of also this financial blockage if you're focused on it a lot. It can help, especially if you have a tendency to burn out. Me, yeah, it really helps for me personally, not as your reader, but as your friend. It really helps personally for me to take like 5 minutes and do yoga or meditate and just ground and come back to where I am. I think overall in manifestation, that's what I've learned the most, is it's so important to really come back to where you are, find the gratitude of not just the things, the people, whatever in your life that make you feel happy, but the gratitude with you, for how much you have done in this life, because I take that for granted. And I really, when I realize that, I just kind of cry because I'm like, man, I'm like so hard on myself, and it's like whatever, but it's nice to like take that break and just relax. So yeah, anyway, before I start crying for real though, I'm gonna go. I will see you later. Have a good time with your manifestations and your blocks, and drink water. Bye.